Society allows it. Culture approves it, excuse me. Family teaches it, and you execute it. Let's go back. Society allows it, right? What is the it that society allows? Pretty much almost anything, right? Society allows you to have a family. There really are no qualifications for you to be married and have children. Once you start doing the definitions of family, of husband, wife, things like that, society really doesn't have any statutory definitions outside of just the simple qualifications of marriage. You typically don't get a certain subset of what those values are until, I'm gonna get to the Charleston White thing in a minute. You typically don't get to those values of what a father, a mother, a husband, a wife, the children, the roles, whatever they may be, or the lack thereof. You don't get to that until you get to around culture. Once you get to culture, and then you identify what cultures you belong to, thank you, ma'am, that's when you start to see those values, right? And so you begin to see what cultures do you belong to. You belong to Black community, the American community, white community, Hispanic community, Asian community, culture, whatever the case may be. That's where you start to begin to identify who typically does what because of what the culture approves you to do. This reminds me of a video I was watching with a woman. I want to say she was an Asian woman, and not Asian by Chinese. I mean Asian by Indian, right? She was an Indian woman. And there was a Black lady who was there, and she was twerking. And she was like, well, won't you do it with me? And the lady was like, my culture does not allow that. See, my culture does not allow that, does not approve. So when you have society allows it, culture approves it. If your culture doesn't approve it, and your culture has certain standards by which you ascribe to, then that's when you start to get those values and foundations. So let's do your trick. I want to call it a trick, but here we go. What cultures do you belong to? What religions do you belong to? Nationality, right? The different cultures, once you begin to identify those and you begin to segregate what they say about family, it may explain what your family actually teaches you. And then it may explain what you do, because you can only execute what you've been shown. You can only execute what you've been shown. And so when you look at the Black community and Black culture loves single parenting. No matter how the ladies say they don't like it, the culture approves it. All the messages around it and imagery and stuff like that, you will very rarely find a single woman who has children who will say, children, this is not what you should do. Don't ever do this. You don't find that. And since you don't find that, right, there's no shame in essence in being a single woman with a bunch of kids. It's not, right? But when you start to look at other cultures, like right now, I'm in a Mexican restaurant. Mexicans and Hispanics are big on family. Oh my God, they're big on family, right? You know who else are also big on family too? Asians. Oh, Indian Asians, Asian Asians, they're big on family.